Welcome back to the number one breakfast show in the country, and many thanks for staying with us. We are going to be talking about the sorry state of our roads within Uganda, particularly the Kampala city roads. Now, we were promised at the start of this lockdown in March of 2020 that all city roads shall be completed, but up to now, nothing has come about. Mlago Roundabout is still in the works. Former Acacia Avenue, John Babiha Avenue now is still in the works. Why? If you go to Nansanaganda, the whole area is potholed. It is full of dust. People are choking. When it rains, they have to literally use boats. But we do have KCCA spokesperson Daniel Nuabine, and he joins me right now. Very good morning, Daniel.
A very good morning to you. But the word sorrow state for all roads is really
Sorry
unfair.
state for all roads.
It's really unfair. We have
Indeed.
some really good roads in the
Indeed.
city. If you look at Old Chira Road, it's a good road, and it reduces the traffic on in that area.
Let's talk about
we have the
yes.
Bunamwaya that we are completing. Acacia now, the speed at which the traffic flows, even when we are still constructing it. You go to Komamboga, we have some good roads, but we have some challenges.
Yes.
So it is not as bad as the word so as you put it.
So last year, at the start of the lockdown around March, we were promised that all city roads as well as the taxi park would be completed. But up to now, nothing is to show or boast of. What happened?
At least we can show that there is progress. The COVID-19 pandemic, first of all, allow me to greet the people of Kampala and the world that are watching us.
They are angry because of the pothole, so please go ahead.
And they're right to be angry. But at least we have some progress. And yes, we promised that we shall work on the city roads, and we thought that during the pandemic we would actually have time.
Look at that, Nuabine.
Oh yeah. But we are going to work on that. That is going to be worked upon. And in fact, we are working on it because, as you see, some of these have already been cut out, and our teams are in the process because road patching is a process.
So explain to the viewer why it has taken slow to actually work on all these city roads, because the viewer is of the view that since during the lockdown, many of us who are at home, you would have had enough time to go out there and work on the city roads when there is lesser traffic. Why?
Well, the same effect that the pandemic had on other sectors is the same effect that the pandemic had on the construction sector.
You are not essential?
Remember, yes, we are essential, but public transport was under lockdown as well, was curtailed because of the spread, the potential spread it had all of the virus.
Shouldn't that have been good for you because it gives you space to work?
But people work at these sites, and people use public transport. So the man hours are certainly reduced.
I don't think the viewer will buy that argument, Nuabine, because even now we were under lockdown, but somehow the company would provide transportation for Romeo Busiko and all the other employees. Public transportation was on lockdown, but there are other ways companies can actually offer transportation to their workers. And KCCA being one of those companies, don't you think you would have been able to provide transportation to your workers?
For those that would provide, for example, those that are our staff, because we use both contractors and we use our internal engineers. So on a number of roads where our internal engineers were in charge, we would definitely provide that transport. Because the city was clean, the city would handle the engineering works that would be done internally. But where we had external contractors, this would also feed into the contractual amounts. If, for example, a road had been contracted for 100 million shillings, here we have a lockdown, and the contractor has to add an extra cost of transporting staff. That would bring back a bill to us, yet this money we borrow, some of this money is from the World Bank. That means you have to go back and get more money. But like I said, the man hours, because the contractors are using staff. These the laborers on these roads had to use public transport. Now, public transport is not there. Therefore, they walk from wherever they are coming from, get to work, work quickly to beat the 5 o'clock. So that would give us about 3 hours of work. But again, Kampala and Uganda and indeed the world has had severe climate. There are certain stretches, for example, the Acacia. One would wonder, why would a stretch of not even 2 kilometers take more than a year? But the circumstances on Acacia are not the normal ones. One, it is a catchment area for both Nakasero and Kololo. Remember, most of these uplands, most of these hills have been paved with the construction of buildings. The water that would initially seep into the ground in these areas can no longer do so because of the buildings that have come up, the paving that has come up, and even the roads that we have made there.
Right. Because
these allow for runoff. And where is the catchment point? Downstream, which is at the point of golf course. So there were so many challenges.
Understood.
There.
What about the old taxi park?
The old taxi park is equally in advanced stages of completion as we speak. We expect that by 4th March, the old taxi park shall be opened or shall be handed over to KCCA, such that we work on the gate system, the automated gate system, to allow taxis move in an automated manner. To allow for bookings for a taxi to move into the park. But it is in advanced stages. The Honorable Minister for Kampala was there for an inspection and she was impressed. And the taxi fraternity, the people who will operate in this park. NTV was there. You saw the progress of the taxi park. And I believe we are on track. We took long because, one, this was not in the budget. But when COVID came in, it presented an opportunity for us to work on the old tax park, such that our people, the people of the city, can be in an ambient place when they're applying the different routes. Remember, the old tax park is the biggest tax park in the country, and it accommodates most of it's the origin of most of the taxis to the various destinations of the country. So it presented us an opportunity to work on it. But we worked on this off budget. And off budget
meaning it was never planned for.
It was not within our plan at the time. But once this opportunity came, the COVID opportunity, we thought we would work on it with the recurrent revenues that would be coming.
But is there a continued plan to work on all the potholed roads within Kampala and all the other surrounding environs within the city?
Oh, certainly. Certainly. We have embarked on a pothole patching program at City Hall. All the roads in the divisions, we have about 42 kilometers. I have with
you should visit Naganda.
Oh, yes.
People are eating dust. Yes, when it rains, they literally have to use boats to get from one point to another.
Naganda is one of those roads we are going to work on under the African Development Bank project that is starting in about 6 months, because we are in advanced stages of procurement. But we
I'm happy to hear that development, Daniel Duwabine. Maybe the people will stop looking at me badly because they see I could be the conveyor of that information.
And you have conveyed the hope.
I always do right here on the show.
Yes.
There's a way they look at you when you go there. Like, doesn't he see the potholes? Why doesn't he talk about the potholes, the unemployment, and so forth? But it's good you're here, and there's a plan to actually work on the poor infrastructure within that jurisdiction.
And when you look at most of the potholes, we have identified them. We have actually cut them out because we have cut out the edges, because pothole patching is a process. It is not a one-day affair. Sometimes it may even take 2 weeks or 3 weeks, depending on the base of the road. What we must note is that all our road, 70% of our paved road infrastructure has outlived its design life. An urban road is designed for 15 to 20 years. But most of the roads that we are seeing...
But how effective are these patches? Because we've seen, even Daily Monitor, there's a huge pothole there. It was patched 2 weeks later. There are holes again.
Now, we patch these roads to make them motorable.
Not resilient.
Motorable, because once a road's design life is done, it's like a torn shirt. My deputy executive director usually gives the analogy of a torn shirt. Once a shirt is old and torn, even if you patch one point, the other point will give way. So when you see a pothole coming up on that road, it means that the base, the foundation, has given way. So we have to do either an overhaul or a spot patch to make the road motorable. When you look at that, that gentleman in a Jaguar will lose the shock absorbers, will lose the Z-links, and as a city, we lose about $800 million.
Indeed. And I've seen some patches around Boise roundabout, but when it rains, it washes them away.
Yes. That is one of the challenges that we have. We have extreme weather. Our solid waste management is poor. So when one dumps solid waste, bottles, imagine a city of 5 million people by day. If 500,000 people are dropping a bottle, like we notoriously do in Kampala, you look at our drainage systems, they have a lot of bottles, Kavera. Now these are what block the drainages, and we have surface runoff. Water and tarmac don't mix. So the patch that we would have put there ends up going away. But remember, these are interim measures. The beautiful thing is that we have now the African Development Bank project. Government is getting money, and through KCCA we are going to work on about 70 kilometers of urban roads to ensure that they are reconstructed and rehabilitated. And the beautiful thing is, all the roads we are constructing now have the paved area, have a walkway, have a drainage on them, and they have street lighting. So I am optimistic. Indeed. And I am certain that with the commitment at KCCA, because we use these roads, I live in Kampala, and I see the roads.
And of course, Nuwabine Daniel, you also did mention that a patch can even take a week, depending on the frequency of traffic on that road.
No, a patch, constructing a patch. If, for example...
It depends on the frequency of the traffic on that road.
What I'm saying is, if, for example, the foundation of a road is gravel, stabilized gravel, which in ordinary terms is known as maram, then we have to cut out the potholed area, get maram, stabilized maram, put in this pothole, allow for compaction with the traffic that moves, get to a point where the maram has met that of the base, then prime it, and then add...
That is understood, Daniel Nuwabine, but this is the concern of the taxpayer who is watching right now. They just wonder, why don't KCCA people work in the middle of the night when there is lesser traffic, so that by morning time these constructions are completed? But then we are seeing them work during day when we are also on the roads, causing diversions, causing traffic here, left, right, and center, and also causing delays when it comes to the construction. So the biggest argument right now is, why isn't KCCA working in the middle of the night like other countries?
The biggest argument to me should be the need for more funds to KCCA.
To be able to work at night?
The need for more funds to work on all city roads. But they're working at night. Our engineers, internally as KCCA, we have our engineers work at night. But the contractors are also finding a challenge with the overall behavior patterns of our people.
You mean it's simply failure to wake up at night and go to work?
No. We have an overall behavior challenge as a country, as a labor provider. We who provide labor.
We work during the day, not at night.
We have contractors who come and complain that, yes, we would have worked at night. But our people say that they don't work at night. So we need also to build, by the way, as a country, we need to build the internal infrastructure. We may have this road infrastructure, but we also have a need to work on the internal infrastructure, the mental infrastructure.
I thought if you give someone a contract, you delegate them to work at a particular time. You want this project to be completed. I want this project to be completed in 1 week. You're going to be working night. So whether or not you are not susceptible to waking up at night would be your business, isn't it, Mr. Nwabine?
But there are extraneous factors that can
explain.
The extraneous factors.
We have 5 minutes, but
there are external factors that would affect a contractor's performance at a given time. One, the technology that we use. Do we have sufficient light? Do the contractors have sufficient light? Yes, we look for the best contractors. But even the contractors get the people from amongst us. So in some of your programs, the programs that we do here at NTV, we should also focus on mindset change, such that our people learn that it is okay to sleep during the day and work at night.
I'm telling you, I found them working during the day, and I asked them, why don't you work at night? And this is what one of the men told me. He said, the issue is we do not have light. Then it took me back to resources.
We don't have
light to flood the project at night.
So all this goes back to also our contractors and an
Meaning
overall,
management can also be a problem.
An overall culture and behavior change. But going forward, and with the new administration at KCCA, we have met these contractors. And indeed, they are working at night. On the 30th, on the 31st of December, as we were coming into the new year, we had Ntinda, Stretcher. We were on a countdown to have the tarmac hit Old Chira Road. And indeed, at the stroke of 2 a.m. on 31st December, 2 a.m., the tarmac touched Old Chira Road. So we are embracing,
Indeed.
And our contractors are equally embracing.
Indeed.
But we also need to appeal to the people out there that the way we have people who work on the Friday show, I enjoy it, the Friday show and Saturday show, the dance party,
Saturday,
the Saturday show, the way we have our presenters work at night.
Let's not dwell too much. Let's not dwell too much, Daniel Nwabine, because we have 3 minutes left, and I wanted to ask you a question on cost. There are concerns about the cost of repairing these roads being too high. Is it true? And if so, why?
The cost of road rehabilitation is quite competitive. It is, because we go out in an open bid, and these bids come in, and we choose the lowest bidder, also looking at components like value for money. But when you look at the cost of an urban road, and usually comparisons are made with rural roads, for example, a road on a highway, a road between, for example, Tirinyi Road. Tirinyi Road may not have a drainage constructed and covered, a covered drain. An urban road has the paved area. It has the walkway. Beneath the walkway is a drainage facility. Up the drainage facility, we have the street lighting. So it is a comprehensive, it's a comprehensive structure. So the cost of an urban road is certainly higher. An average cost of an urban road at the moment is about 7.5 billion shillings, whereas that of a highway would even be as low as 2 billion.
So what will it take to get all these city roads fixed?
Money.
More money.
We need more money to fix them, and government is committed to give us this money. And what we have, at least what we have that it will take to have these roads fixed, is the commitment. We have the commitment as administrators of the city, as the human resource. We are committed. I am committed. At least I am committed. 1,000 men out there are committed to ensure that the roads of Kampala, the infrastructure in Kampala, the services we offer are stellar, and we are proud of them.
Daniel Nwabine, the spokesperson of the KCCA, many thanks for having made the time to speak to NTV Uganda.
It's always a pleasure to account to the people of Kampala.
The people of Nansanaganda, my job has been executed. Like you've heard from Daniel Nuabine, yes, your problems will be solved anytime soon. Yes, there's a project in the offing. They'll be fixing all those dirty roads, the swampy areas, and so forth. When it rains, it pours. I do know, but you're going to be getting relief in the shortest time possible. My name is Romeo Busika, and of course, it's been an exhilarating but yet insightful show today. We shall be coming back tomorrow for the same. Have yourselves a blessed